Hi everyone, welcome back to the EDS for IRE YouTube channel. Just a quick video today to discuss where we are with the campaign and just a few updates. So really I'll start talking about first the website stuff. If you have been on the website much, or if you follow our mailing list, then you probably know some of the changes on there already. Basically one of the main changes, I suppose, is that I'm doing a whole section on where to go for help in Ireland. So this will hopefully include a list of the consultants who will mostly be private, that do understand EDS, who use the correct terminology and who will make that diagnosis for both adults and children. So I'm working on that at the moment. You'll also see a section on there for obviously just the different support networks online, which I think is always good to know, and I'm always talking about that. You know, you really should join the groups on Facebook that do exist. You can get so much support there. Also not just for EDS but also for the comorbid conditions as well. So that's what I'm working on mainly at the moment. And it might sound easier than it is, really for the kind of the consultant part of that, so for EDS and kind of for the different comorbid conditions, really what I'm looking at is that I want to have a list, a reliable list. So I'm putting down the names obviously of the two private consultants that we do know for definite that will diagnose EDS, and that is Mulcahy and Ambrose. So that's the Cork and Dublin consultant, and they're up there at the moment. And I have also asked on social media, you know, for other names. So that would be privately or publicly. Like I've gotten several names, but I'm being very careful who I put on the list, because I'm getting a lot of feedback, a lot of positive feedback maybe for someone, and then someone else comes in with negative feedback. So what I'm finding is that consultants, particularly public ones, will one day believe in EDS and might make that diagnosis or nearly make the diagnosis, even if they're using the correct terms. Then the next week they seem to be meeting someone else and they're not. So I want to only put reliable consultants down. So that's the issue I'm facing really at the moment. Also then of course there's people that got a diagnosis, but then I have to go check that they're still working, they haven't retired or anything like that. But the main focus really at the moment is that I do have a few other names of possible consultants that will be going up there, but I just want to double check that they're up to date in the criteria and that they're actually using the correct terminology. So they're not saying you just have hypermobility syndrome and leaving it at that, or they're not saying, or they're, you know, not making up kind of their own terms for EDS. I think that's vital that they're at least, even if they're not saying hypermobility spectrum disorder, that they're at least saying Ehlers-Danlos syndrome for when people have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So, you know, I would give some leeway on the terminology, not necessarily up to date with the 2017 criteria exactly, but I don't want them, I don't want to put a consultant on there who flip-flops from believing in EDS one day and not the next day. So there's a bit more research I want to do into that, and really I think what that's going to involve is actually just me contacting them straight out and asking, you know, you got suggested for this condition, is this condition you believe in? So I'm working on that at the moment. So sorry about the progress is slow on that. And if you feel there's a consultant privately or publicly in the country who does fall under the category of believing in EDS, diagnosing EDS when it is the correct diagnosis, then, you know, feel free to mail me either through email or on social media, and I will look into that. So that's kind of what I'm working on at the moment. Also then on the website you will see the shop section. I've always had the shop section there, and I've had a couple of different t-shirts designs up to kind of the basic logo, but I've just added to that recently. If you're not used to that, like that shop section, and you don't know what I'm talking about, it's basically a Spreadshirt website. So I have that within my website. So basically with Spreadshirt, for those of you that don't know about these kind of sites, there's many like them. You can sign up to them and you can put your designs up there for people to use and for people to buy. It's not something that I'll be making money on, or not very much money on. I don't think there are ways that you can add commission on there. It's just really something I wanted to do, though, more so just for awareness. So if you're like me and your local printers aren't that great with t-shirt design, and if you give them a logo, and some of the ones I've had have just been terrible, unfortunately, where I live, I thought this would be an easier way. If there is a design you like on there but you don't want to use Spreadshirt, send me an email and I can just send you the PDF version, and then you can bring that to your local printer if that's something you'd prefer, because really, you know, this these t-shirts and stuff, and all the kind of, there's cups, and you'll have a wee look there, and there's like funny little different bits of merchandise. It's just really for awareness and just a bit of fun kind of also as well. So whether you're going to the protest or not, or just for something to wear around your local town, and hopefully then people will ask you like about the campaign and about EDS. So I thought that's just a fun section on there as well. So that's also new on the website. Nothing else really new on the website at the moment. There is a couple of new stories on there, the personal stories from patients. And if you have EDS or HSD, please do send us in a message, because I would love to hear from you, and I'd love to have your story up there, because I think stories are more important than actual stats. You could say, we can come out at the end of the day and say that there's this many people in the country with EDS and with HSD, but I think personal stories really adds to that effect. So if that sounds like you and you want to tell your story, please do. Also the blog section as well, that's also open to people who have EDS and HSD, if you want to write a blog post about any aspect of EDS. So have a look at those two sections of the website, see if you can read them, get some ideas, and see if that's something that you want to take part in. That's really kind of all I've been working on the website stuff at the moment. I am working on also some new leaflets as well. So we have the basic leaflets at the moment that explain what the campaign is, not really much about EDS on there. So I'm working on more leaflets in the background, and hopefully then a poster campaign, and this will hopefully be some kind of pack that we can send into GPs, send to rheumatologists, kind of to go, these are our conditions, can this be something that you could please know about? So just kind of a bit of a more awareness campaign. So that's kind of ongoing in the background as well, and that's really kind of it for the moment. We, of course, are going to start the Dáil gatherings again in September. I'm yet to find out when the Dáil is starting back up again, but I'm aiming for, I think, the third week of September. So usually our protest, for those of you who haven't been there before, will be either on a Wednesday or Thursday. So I'm thinking the third week of September, but keep an eye on the Facebook page. I'll have an event go up there, and I'll do more videos, of course, like this, updating when we have a date. And again, if you go on the website, you can sign up for the mailing list, and that will keep you up to date as well. So I think that's really everything with the campaign so far. Sorry, everything's kind of slow in the background, but if you want to get involved, please do. So go on the website, www.eds4ire, see how you can get involved, and I hope to hear from you soon, and I hope to see you at our gathering in September.